You keep hearing rumours about Etsy changes, Etsy changing fees, search, ads, the algorithm, and you're quietly panicking that that one random update in 2026 is going to wipe out your shop. And I completely get it. Stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to future-proof, which is what we want, your business and your Etsy shop so that it survives updates without you needing some kind of like crystal ball action or a nervous breakdown, just trying to stay on top of all the different things that are changing. Let's be honest, Etsy has never been a set it and forget it type thing. Fees have changed, search has changed, ads have changed, policies have changed. Like, there was a lot of changes in 2025, right? And if you're sat there thinking, I'll feel better when things are stable, when things start to calm down a little wee bit, I'm sorry to say, but that is a trap, because Etsy has never been a set, forget, stable thing. After all, we want Etsy to stay on top of things. We do not want Etsy to be the kind of business that the world changes around it and the business gets left behind. So actually, it is kind of a good thing, because the more changes they make and improvements and updates, the better we get at embracing those and actually keeping up with the world changes. So what you need is a shop that can bend without snapping every time Etsy presses a new button. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Steph, and I've been a full-time handmade business owner since 2016, and I've ridden out more Etsy updates than I care to count. And now I coach makers on Etsy, doing your own website, marketing, in-person events, and basically turning your hobby into an actual real business that helps to pay the bills. P.S. Not just a very stressful hobby. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about what Etsy is likely to keep doing in 2026 and beyond, what you can control and what you absolutely cannot, so you might as well stop stressing about it, how to stop relying on Etsy as your only traffic source, owning your audience through email and eventually your own website, product and SEO strategies that survive these countless updates, and how to build a money safety net so that no one bad month knocks you flat. If that sounds like the kind of calm, like business big sis, no BS fluff talking that you need, hit subscribe, give this video a like, because you know what? YouTube's an algorithm, and the more little things you do like that, the easier people can find this kind of content. So I'm going to be looking down at my notes, because ADHD brain, sometimes I go off at a bit of a tangent, or sometimes I start talking about like other things, and I really want to make sure that these videos are to the point and as valuable as they possibly can be. So section 1 is a reality check. Etsy is built to change. Like, the unpopular truth here is Etsy is not your average cozy village craft fair that has stayed the same for the past 20 years. It is a billion-dollar tech platform, right? So we kind of need to start thinking of it as that. Tech platforms are like toddlers with a box of buttons. They are constantly testing things. And you know, when you think back over the last few years, we've had changes to fees and how they're structured. We've had changes to how ads show or what they push in search. We've had changes to how offsite ads work. We've had random little experiments with like this button going there and it being that color, and listing layouts and reviews and coupons and you name it, it's been tested. So if your brain is waiting for the day that Etsy just goes, right, that's it, we're done, no more changes, yay, you are going to be stuck in that loop forever, because it's not going to happen. Waiting for stability is like saying, I'm only going to go to the beach when the tide promises to stop moving. It ain't going to happen. So instead, I want you to think like a surfer at the beach, right? The waves are non-negotiable things that happen. Your job is to get better at staying on that board, okay? And that's what future-proofing actually is. Not predicting every single wave, but becoming the person who can ride them. I'm going to say that again. Not predicting every single wave, but becoming the person who can ride them. That's literally all that we need in our business to stay sane, but also stay on top of all the changes. So let's talk about section 2, right? What you can control versus what you can't. So let's separate your life out a little bit before we try to fix everything in your business and therefore your Etsy shop, right? Things you cannot control, drum roll please, they consist of Etsy fees, when and where they choose to test new layouts and buttons and things, the exact algorithm formula for search. They kind of keep the exact algorithm a secret. We only know little bits of it. Don't let anyone tell you any different. What other sellers decide to do, and customers who treat Etsy like Amazon. You know the ones. I ordered this 3 days ago. Why isn't it here yet? Those kinds of people. You know who I'm talking about. You can scream into a pillow about these if you want to, but you can't build a strategy around them because they are things that you cannot control. So let's now talk about things that you can control. So you can control your product range and how you position them. You can control your photos, titles, descriptions, tags, attributes, and things like that. You can control how many eggs you put in the Etsy search basket. You can control whether or not you build your own email list, your own customer base. You can control how you handle your money in your business. And you can control how often you show up to your audience off of Etsy. Those are things that you can do something about. And that's the future-proof bit of it, right? Etsy is the road that you're driving on. You don't own the road. You do own the car, how well you maintain it, and whether you also know like a quick shortcut back route. Do you know what I mean? So every time you see news of an update, instead of spiraling and going, oh, for crying out loud, another update, instead ask, okay, this is frustrating AF, but is this inside my control or is it outside of it? If it's outside of your control, we adapt. If it's inside, we get to work. We actually start doing stuff. So let's go through section 3, more of like the practical, tactical side of things, all right? We're going to be talking about diversifying your traffic without adding 15 new jobs to your list. So if 95% of your visits are from Etsy search, no wonder you feel sick to your stomach anytime anyone on YouTube whispers algorithm change. Like, you know, I would be as well. That's literally like having a market stall where the council can randomly move the entrance anytime they want to and never bother to tell your regulars where you are, where you're at, where you've gone. So we want at least some people finding you from one of these: email, social, Pinterest, and past customers coming back to you, specifically your shop, on purpose. Repeat buyers, basically. So you don't need to be an influencer to do any of this. You don't need to post on social media 6 times a day. You want to think of Etsy search as one big tap, okay? And we're going to install at least one more tap. So you have your cold tap, right? Now in our sink, we want to install a hot tap, okay? So here's some simple ways to start, okay? Number 1 is email. Put a sign up link in your Etsy shop announcement, thank you message with a small freebie, discount, something like that. Once a month, send an email that says, here's what I've been making, here's what's new, here's what's popular, etc., right? I do have a few videos on my channel about email. So if you do want to find out more about that, just go to the search bar on my channel, type in email. It's going to show you all the videos from me talking about email. I've been doing this for 6 years now, so you're going to find a nice tasty amount of videos to watch. The second thing is Pinterest. So you can batch 10 pins in Canva that show your best-selling products and a link to your shop. Schedule them in, bing, bang, bong, you are done. Pinterest is a slow burn though, and you have to be on it consistently for 6 to 12 months before you start seeing traffic really, truly coming through on a consistent basis. But the good thing about it is that it keeps bringing traffic to you long after you've just forgotten what you've pinned. So it's a good one. Then you have social media. This is your one platform where your people actually genuinely hang out, okay? 3 to 4 posts a week is all you need. They can be behind the scenes, it can be product features, reviews, customer photos, plus the odd rant thread here and there do really, really well. And they remember that you are a human being at the end of the day. So just choosing one of these, choosing either email, Pinterest, social, and not putting all of your eggs in the Etsy search basket is a good idea. Now, honestly, if already you're feeling overwhelmed, just hit pause. Like, You do not have to figure all of this out today. You do not have to come up with all of that, for example, social media or email stuff from scratch. You do not have to figure out the tech stuff. You don't have to worry about it, because below, I'm actually going to list 2 things for you. Number 1 is a really good mini course that shows you how to set up your email list and get your first 100 subscribers. It is so easy. You can do it in 2 days or less, and that's a promise. So if that sounds good to you, go into the description and I will link that for you. The second thing is the social media sidekick. If you are peed off, and I'm putting that very nicely, with social media, it's ever changing, what have yous, and you're not sure what to post, why every time you post, nothing happens, no one comments, no one engages, blah, blah, blah. You need to have a strategy in place. But I understand, because you're a maker, you want to make, you don't want to have to be marketing this stuff all the freaking time. So I've actually done it for you. And each and every month, I bring you professionally designed social media posts for you to grab, tweak if you want to, schedule and get done. That is for Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Threads, and Facebook. Have I mentioned Facebook? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, Threads. There you go. So I'm also going to link that for you below as well, because if you're peed off with trying to figure this stuff out, you definitely want to check that out. All right. So section 4, owning your audience, email and your own website. Let's talk about insurance policies, but not the kind that you think. You do not own your Etsy followers. You do not own your social media followers. You do not own your Pinterest audience. At any point, any platform across the entire internet can glitch, it can kick you out, it can hide your posts, or it can just quietly decide that they're not really into you that week. And yeah, like, we have some control over these things, but honestly, sometimes it can just be a straight up glitch for no other reason than it's tech, and it does that sometimes. The audience you actually own is the people on your email list and visitors to your own website when/if you want one. Okay, so I want you to think of your email list as your lifeboat. And I've been talking about email a lot over the past couple of months, because really, truly, I do really feel that any business in 2026 needs to have some kind of email list. For the pure reason that platforms change, they glitch, they kick you off, they hide your stuff. Like, you have no control over that, but you do have control over owning your audience, having your own email list. And if Etsy ever did something wild and your shop vanished for a week, if you have a list, you can email your people saying, hey, a bit of chaos going on over Etsy, but you can still buy from me. Here's what I'm working on. Here's the link, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to have a fancy website on day one, but long term, even the simplest one-page site where you can send traffic and take orders is just that extra layer of safety. It's that extra insurance policy. So your future-proof step for 2026 is not guess every single update and preemptively strike, because how on earth can you? But it's to grow your lifeboat, okay? So here's some tiny starting points. You could add a join my newsletter for first dibs and secret discounts to your Etsy thank you page. That's one. You would have a simple sign up page with a short link you can put in your packaging and on social media. Or you can email them, your people, at least once a month so that they remember who you are. You keep them warm, you keep them fresh. Even if there's only 20 people on your list, that's fine. Like, that's a good starting point. That's 20 people who you wouldn't otherwise have if you didn't build your list, right? So honestly, don't ever feel bad about having humble beginnings. We all start from zero. All right, section 5, let's future-proof your product strategy. So let's move into your products now, because this is where a lot of people unintentionally make themselves extremely fragile. If your entire business rests on one hero listing or one type of product, you are basically balancing your whole revenue, your whole income on one extremely wobbly chair. And if that listing gets taken down, copied, pushed down, falls out of trend, you are stuck. So future-proofing your products looks like a core range that can be repositioned across several seasons and ins and outs and all that kind of stuff. Bundles that can increase your average order value. And by the way, upsells, cross-sells, order bumps, they all do that, all right? And variations of your best sellers for different occasions, customer types, uses, all that kind of stuff. So for example, just to make this really, really clear, if you make prints, instead of making 30 completely random designs, you go, I'm going to do a cozy theme for winter, a cozy home range, if you like. I'm going to do a fresh start range for spring. And I'm going to sprinkle in a few evergreen listings that I think are going to do well so that I can dress those up differently at different times of year. And dressing up can literally just mean changing the first listing image to make it more Christmassy or more Valentine's Day-y or something like that. Let's say you make jewelry, right? Your core product might be a particular style of necklace, but you offer different birthstones, initials, chain lengths, colors, all those kinds of things. Or you bundle them together as bridesmaid sets, best friend gifts, mum and child duo, all those kinds of things. Basically, it's the same materials, it's the same skills, just different outfits for different occasions. You're packaging them up differently so that your product line no longer is just a seasonal thing. That way, when Etsy rolls out a new feature like collections or a new way of showing gift guides, you have options that actually really fit into those things. Section 6, search and SEO that always survives updates. So let's talk about search, because I know the word algorithm makes your eye twitch and you're like, ugh. And I get it. I do. I really, really do. So a lot of sellers accidentally build their SEO around trying to hack the current version of search. So, you've probably found me on YouTube right now and you've probably stumbled across this because you saw the word SEO and algorithm and you thought, I definitely need help with that. But how many videos and things and lives even have you seen before this that has made you change your SEO and you've accidentally stumbled on something that works well, right? They will do things like stuff titles with every keyword they can think of. For another example, they can write robotic captions. They can use ChatGPT to write their titles and their tags. P.S. Please do not do that. And they can also chase whatever buzzword someone mentioned in a Facebook group last week because it worked well for them. And when Etsy tweaks their search, those people are back to square one because they'd never really truly understood the base core thing that underpins SEO. Instead, we want a future-proof SEO that focuses on customer intent. So you want to ask yourself, if I was my ideal customer, what would I literally type into the search bar? That's it. That's the first step here. Literally, what words would I type into that search bar? It's not about, long tail keyword searches. Yes, those are all really important. But the core baseline thing that underpins this is, how would my target audience search for this thing? So for example, instead of trying and failing to rank for the word gift, which is just a chaotic thing to do, you would aim for personalized teacher thank you gift. That's exactly what someone would type it in the search box. You would do lavender self-care gift box. That would be exactly what I would type in the search bar. You could do custom pet memorial decor. That's what I would search in there. So do you see, you're not looking at the current buzzwords and just keyword stuffing the bejesus out of it. You're literally just saying, hey, I know my target audience, or you should do because you're a handmade business owner and you make products for that person. However, I need to know exactly how my target audience searches for that product. By the way, your title should read like a human explaining what it is, not that you bashed your head on the keyboard, you fell asleep on it, whatever, and that is your title. It's just keyword stuff to high heaven. So here are some good SEO basics that survive updates and algorithm changes and blah, 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 blah. Number one, a clear main keyword at the start of your title. Basically, you want to front load your most important keyword phrase at the very front. Why? Because that is the thing that people can see when they're scrolling through the search results on Etsy and on Google as well, by the way. Number two is supporting phrases in the rest of the title and tags. Supporting phrases are phrases that are important, but not as important as that very first phrase that you want to be at the very, very front. So, third thing, photos or your first picture, especially clearly showing what it is and who it is for. All right. Number four, descriptions that answer questions, reduce doubt, bust those customer objections. You know, those reasons why people don't buy your products? We want to bust them. in the photos, and in the descriptions, okay? And you just basically want to reduce doubt there. But what you don't want to do, which so many people, and I see this happen a lot, like, I don't know who I watched the other day, but it was a Etsy, like, guru person, whoever, I don't even know. And she was like, oh, hey, like, copy your title and put it at the very top of your description. Oh my God, please do not do that, because Google will not like that. Google knows when you keyword stuff and it will suppress it. And like, I don't know if you've seen, but actually the vast majority of traffic that Etsy gets is from Google search. So please do not do that. It's terrible. Like, I don't know why people say these things. I think they just want to get like Hack of the Year award, but it doesn't actually work. The algorithm's goal, as we know, is to show buyers things that they are most likely to want. And if your listing makes that easy, minor changes in the tech shakeup affect you a lot less. Now, section 7, we are on to money, safety net, and planning. Now, here's the spicy bit. Now, I personally love talking about money. Money is one of my favorite topics to talk about, because for some people it can be so emotionally charged, and for some people we need to change our money mindset. But like, I really like talking about money because I really like to empower women to be in charge of their own financial future. I think that is a big thing that we all need to be a little bit more of, is financially savvy, financially in charge, especially if you are a business owner. So future proofing is not just about products, algorithm, SEO, all that kind of stuff. It's also talking about how fragile your business finances really are. So if every month you spend every single penny your shop makes, then yes, one bad update is going to feel absolutely terrifying. And I want you to start treating your Etsy shop like a proper business, not a slot machine that sometimes pays out. It's a real business. So here's some tiny but boring, powerful habits that you can do. Decide on a percentage that always goes into a business buffer, or I call mine a business runway account. If it's 5 to 10% to start off with, that's great. Even if it's £1 a week, it just makes you feel better because you're already planning for a buffer account, okay? Number 2, please track your basic monthly costs. So materials, postage, packaging, Etsy fees, ads. Know your I need this to stay afloat number. Like, we all have that bottom baseline number. Know what that is. Number 3, you need to expect slower months. Please don't have all of this money and all these sales coming in December, November, spend all of it, expecting January to be the same, and it is not. Like, we know that January, sometimes the summer months, random weeks, things do go quiet. This does not mean your shop is over, but a money buffer plus multiple traffic taps plus email, as we've talked about throughout this entire video, what does that equal? All equals way less panic when Etsy decides to reorganize things yet again. Okay, so let's finish this up with some actual real tangible homework. So this does not become a, yeah, cool video, yeah, it's nice, I'm going to do that, and then you do nothing with it, because that's not why I create these. I do this so that you can actually have some tangible things to do that make a real difference. So this week, I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, pick new traffic tap. Choose either email, Pinterest, or social media to focus on. Please do go in the description box below this thing, wherever you're consuming it, podcast, video, whatever, because I do have some really helpful resources for you that I promise is going to make a massive difference to you. Decide on one tiny step from those things, like set up my email list, create 5 pins, commit to 3 posts a week on Instagram, whatever that tiny commitment is that you need. Number 2, audit your top 5 listings. So we want you to check, do the photos clearly show what it is and who it's for? Does the title read like exactly what a customer would type? Is there a way to create a bundle or variation from this listing? Number 3 is to start your safety net, okay? And I really, truly mean this. Open a separate account, a pot. You can even use like money envelopes if you really want to. Send a small percentage of each payout there, even if it's £1, even if it's a $5, even if it's $10, whatever that is, start the habit. I've been doing this since 2015, and just having that fallback there, I cannot tell you how much less anxiety it gives me knowing that that is there. And also, if you want support and help doing this, please do not forget, I have linked the email course, I have linked the social media sidekick below for you. And if this video helped calm your Etsy's gonna ruin my life in 2026 anxiety, give it a like, hit subscribe, and then go and watch my previous video talking about the Etsy post-holiday slump, because that is going to be an amazing one to partner along with this one, so that you're moving into 2026 with more of a business owner head on, less of a hobbyist head on. So guys, thank you so much, and I will see you all the same time next week for another episode of How to Be a Handmade Boss.